Hi everybody, today's game Celeste is a platforming video game developed by Matt Makes Games. It was released in 2018 for Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One and later for macOS and Linux. First, let's talk about the overall genre of Celeste. According to Adams and Dorman's classification, Celeste is a fantasy game. The game takes place in a fictional world and follows the character Madeline as she tries to climb a mountain while facing challenges and obstacles. The game includes elements of puzzle solving and exploration which are common in platforming games. Celeste also incorporates elements of the action genre as the gameplay involves navigating through levels and avoiding obstacles while using Madeline's abilities to jump, climb and dash. Now let's dive into some specific gameplay mechanics of Celeste. One key element of the game is its physics system, which allows Madeline to interact with the environment in a realistic and intuitive way. In the context of video games, physics refers to the way that objects and characters interact with each other and with the environment. This is particularly important for the platforming elements of the game as Madeline must use her abilities to jump, climb and dash to navigate through the levels and plays a key role in the gameplay. For example, Madeline's jumps and dashes allows the player to control her movement with a frame-perfect precision, which helps to make the gameplay feel smooth and satisfying. It also determines how the Madeline interacts with the objects in the environment, such as how she bounces off walls or how she interacts with moving platforms. It also adds an element of strategy to the game as players must consider how Madeline's movements will affect her trajectory. It helps to make the game feel immersive and engaging, and it encourages players to think critically about their actions. Another aspect of Celeste is its internal economy, which refers to the way that resources and rewards are distributed within the game. In Celeste, the internal economy is represented by the collection of strawberries and tapes that players can find as they progress through the levels. This encourages players to explore the levels and search for strawberries as they provide a sense of progression and accomplishment. Progression mechanisms refer to the ways that a game allows players to progress and improve their abilities as they play. It's one of the main parts of Celeste. The game consists of a series of levels that players must navigate through in order to progress through the story. The levels in Celeste are organized into chapters, with each chapter featuring a series of levels that are progressively more challenging. For example, they may encounter moving platforms, conveyor belts, or enemies that have new abilities or behaviors. These new elements of the environment can significantly alter the gameplay and require players to adapt their tactics and strategies in order to overcome them. The terrain and platforms that Madeline can interact with also change as players progress through the levels. For example, they may encounter new types of platforms that behave differently, such as bouncy platforms, flying bubbles, falling and sinking platforms, smashable walls, disappearing platforms, activatable platforms, space blocks, wind swap blocks, switches and locks, feathers, and so on. The theme of the levels also changes with unique environmental mechanics that varies the gameplay a lot. This helps to keep the game feeling fresh and engaging. Also, they may unlock new abilities such as the dash or double dash. Tactical maneuvering refers to the use of strategy and planning to navigate through a game's challenges and obstacles. In Celeste, players must carefully plan their movements and use Madeline's abilities effectively to navigate through the levels. This adds an element of strategy to the gameplay and encourages players to think critically about their actions. For example, players must consider how Madeline's jumps and dashes will affect her trajectory and how she will interact with the environment. Players must constantly adapt their tactics to overcome new challenges and obstacles. Finally, social interaction in video games refers to the ways that players can interact with each other within the game. In Celeste, social interaction is represented by the speedruns, the online leaderboards, and achievements that players can access. This adds an element of competition and allows players to connect with others who are also playing the game. Achievements are another form of social interaction in Celeste. These are special in-game milestones that players can unlock by completing certain tasks or challenges. Unlocking achievements allows players to show off their accomplishments to other players and provides a sense of accomplishment and progress. Overall, Celeste is a fantastic example of a game that combines elements of the platforming, action, and environmental storytelling. If you haven't played it yet, I highly recommend giving it a try.